Finding a place to call home is the great Australian dream.
But in an effort to work their property dollar harder, more and more Aussies are buying not one, but two properties in a double relocation gamble.
We're selling 1,000. Sold Rock to Fitzroy. Happy with that?
Yeah. And this week we're on a two-part mission to help a couple who certainly know what they like.
Yes!
I'm home. Right.
Well done.
And definitely know what they don't.
I hate that it's dark.
You know how George said he was going to be the picky one? That's not going to be the case with this house.
After more than 3 years of searching, they need our help to set sail for a new life.
What a great place for adventures to begin, no?
This week we meet the Chalmers family, who want to swap the suburbs for the seaside.
And buy an investment property in the city.
And they need our help, or their grand plan might be dead in the water. Claudia, George and their two young boys are a family in search of a sea change.
While George works as an environmental health and safety manager in the city.
In the sprawling outer suburb of Glenhaven in Sydney's northwest, Claudia is going stir-crazy. Trapped at home with nowhere to go, she juggles part-time work and caring for their two boys, Jonathan and Bastian.
I am actually stuck inside a house all day, every day. I work here, I do everything here. I think the hardest thing is just not being a part of the world.
Both Claudia and George agree. While they've done a lot of work to their current 3-bedroom brick home, it's served its purpose. And now it's time to upgrade to a bigger house in an area that will offer them a better lifestyle. There's just a little matter of where.
We don't agree. We don't agree with the location. I'd love to move to the Northern Beaches. My whole family unit's over there, especially with the two young boys. The family support is great and I rely on them a lot.
But most of my work is pretty much located around central business districts. It's quite a bit of a trouble for me.
So, what happened?
He's given in.
Nothing like the female powers of persuasion. But after 3.5 years of searching in the area, they're still no closer to finding their ideal family home.
What we're looking for is that bit of magic, that lovely location with a great lifestyle and the house that says, hey, this is your home.
We're just desperate for help, not only for our home, but also trying to build a nest egg for the future.
They've also struggled to find their ideal investment property, which will fund their retirement.
It shouldn't be that difficult to find an investment property, but it has. We've been struggling. If we could find both.
Awesome.
So it's up to us to end this couple's fruitless 3-year search and help them find their new family home on the Northern Beaches and an apartment to rent out. You're moving from the Hills District here in Glenhaven and then thinking about moving to Sydney's Northern Beaches.
That's far.
Yeah, you'd have to drive into work each morning.
Right.
Truth be told, didn't really want to go over this way.
How much extra time is that going to add to your day?
Probably an hour. You know, you add it up over 5 days, it's a lot of extra time.
Ideally, Claudia would love to live in a suburb like Palm Beach or Avalon.
While there's no doubt the living's easy on the Northern Beaches, it's 35 kilometres from George's work in town, so it's going to be a long daily hike. No surprise the move up here wasn't his idea.
OK, you don't really want to go that far. You do. We know why you do, and it's obviously beautiful up there, but how did you manage to convince him that that's where you're going?
I actually didn't. He just turned around one day and he said, let's do it.
So the pressure's on us to find a place they'll both be happy with.
Claudia's after 4 spacious bedrooms and a big backyard for the boys. She also wants the property to be close to shops, cafes and the beach so she can get out during the day. The budget? $1.15 million.
And at the top of George's list...
I need a garage. Not only for that, for my car, it's the tools. It's the tools. I got to put the tools away.
He's got every tool on the planet.
Now there's a man after my own heart.
But they're also looking for an investment property as part of their self-managed superannuation fund, a nest egg for their future.
They want a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment close to the city that they can rent out. And the budget, $630,000. The good thing about Sydney right now is that generally, if you have a for lease sign out the front, there's lines of people lining up. So we're in this beautiful position of having a huge undersupply. Yes. And so if you get the position right, it's generally a bit of a no-brainer.
particularly if you are prepared to add value?
I think we'd like to probably add a bit of value, but we need to be able to rent it out immediately.
Because of the way they've financed these properties, their budgets are set in stone and not interchangeable. For the family home, they have $1.15 million, and for the investment property, $630,000.
So we can't steal from one.
Is that right? We can't.
To flesh out the budget for the other.
Steal from one too.
Look, I think this is going to be a reasonably difficult search. I think George is going to be the hardest to please, and rightly so, he's giving up the most.
Well, Claudia's got family on the Northern Beaches, so for her, it's easy to see why she wants to move there. It's all looking up for her. But George, it's all sacrifice and a lot of hours in the car.
He's definitely sacrificing, but it is a beautiful part of the world, and I think we should get them up there as quick as we can.
Sydney's Northern Beaches, with golden sand and surf on one side and the calm waters of Pittwater on the other. It's a playground of the rich and famous. It's also a regular haunt of surfers, sailors, artists and writers, and those looking for a bit of upmarket escapism.
So I guess for you, George, sitting here overlooking this beautiful view wouldn't make it so hard to move?
No, we've weighed up the pros and the cons, and obviously one of it is that
Lifestyle.
those extra hours that I'll be spending in the car. This is the payback for it.
So how does being in a place like this make you feel?
When I'm near the water, I just feel serene and just calm. It calms me, but particularly the Pittwater side. I'd be quite happy to live just along here, would be nice.
Oh, wouldn't we all? Quite lovely to live along here.
It's important for George to be happy too, so I think if we find the right place and he can at least see the potential and the future in it, it'd be great if we're both happy.
At the end of the day, I want my family to be happy. So if they're happy, I'm happy. So,
Happy wife?
Happy life.
Happy life. Ain't that the truth? But property prices are fairly hefty in the area, especially at its most northern point of Palm Beach, where everything from cottages to contemporary beach houses cost in the millions.
So we'll need to look at entry-level properties slightly south of Palmy that offer the best bang for their buck. First stop, the leafy waterside enclave of Clairville. Over an hour's drive from the CBD for George, this quiet suburb sits on the shores of tranquil Pittwater.
We're literally around the corner from gorgeous little Clairville Beach, which is great for little kids.
Perfect little swimming spot, probably one of the best on Pittwater. It's about a 15-metre walk that way and then straight down.
Oh, beautiful.
Nice and close.
That's what we like to hear. Some positive feedback on the location. Let's hope they like the house. It's a 2-storied weatherboard, but the layout could do with some work.
With 4 bedrooms and decent-sized living areas, there's plenty of room inside, as well as a big backyard for the kids. And at just over $1 million, this property sits neatly within budget.
The layout in here is a bit weird, actually, because they've got the bathroom in the middle of the house. So obviously you've got prime opportunity to put a kitchen where that is and enjoy those views. Have much more open plan. Put the bathroom in the back where the kitchen is, or somewhere else.
Yeah, it's okay.
Come on, Claudia, what's going on? What's really going on?
Yeah, I hate that it's dark.
Yeah.
It's too dark for me.
Even a coat of paint around here would make a huge difference. Maybe take down those blinds.
And those windows are standard height windows. So there's an opportunity there to really let a lot more light into here. And one of the benefits of being a weatherboard house is that putting holes in there to enlarge windows and put doors in is quite easy to do. Obviously, you've got to get a structural engineer and probably have a chat to council as well.
Sure.
But it's a lot easier to work with than a brick house.
And a brick home, yeah.
Definitely.
Okay.
Enlarging and adding windows would cost around $2,000 each. They'd not only add light into the house, but also street appeal and value to the property.
But something tells me that it's going to take a lot more than windows to brighten Claudia's impression of this house.
This is the
This must be your master.
The house is too small.
Yeah.
There's no ensuite. I think there was 2 bedrooms
It's small.
downstairs, but
It's small.
too small.
Too small? This house is big. It's got the bedrooms they've asked for, 2 bathrooms and 2 living spaces. Not to mention the land. It's on over 1,000 square metres, much larger than the average suburban block in Sydney. And it's got a view. Not bad for their budget.
What do you think of the land?
It's huge. The real big thing for me right now is the block. And it's just, I'm just looking at my free time. It does look like it's a lot more work for me.
I think it's a really honourable thing that you're doing in terms of moving the family to a location like this so that they can be happy. So I can certainly empathise with you that the last thing you want to do is sort of come home and add another really large task to your to-do list.
No point beating around the bush. I don't think we'll get George to say yes on this property.
He was thinking extra 45 minutes each way to work and then coming home and mowing that lawn. He wasn't enthused.
But what about the beach down the road?
Well, the beach isn't that good to him if he's up there mowing the lawn.
I think we need to take him down the beach.
I think so.
But will that be enough to turn the tide?
Oh my God, it's grass and then beach. It's lovely.
Isn't it stunning?
So knowing this, how does that make you feel about the property we've just seen?
That makes me reevaluate that property completely.
Really?
Yep, not even.
That's really close. I can understand why they say it's such a great beach for kids. Look at it.
It's beautiful.
It's so lovely.
And that's a minute walk.
What a great place for adventures to begin, no?
Absolutely.
Does that change anything about the property we just visited?
It does make it slightly more appealing, but it really doesn't raise the bar high enough for me to go back and say, yeah, I'd consider that.
Interesting.
I'm trying to put on my practical hat. I'm still thinking of all the work I've got to do and just to maintain the property.
So really the house and the land size or the land slope is becoming more important than the location?
I would say so.
One compromise down. It's house and land over location for Claudia and George, and back to house hunting for us.
This week we're on the hunt for a couple keen to swap the suburban sprawl
For a bit of family fun on the sunny shores of Sydney's northern beaches.
So far, we've shown them a 4-bedroom weatherboard, nudging Clairville Beach.
It was under their $1.15 million budget, but the high-maintenance backyard blew this property out of contention.
It does look like it's a lot more work for me.
We can see George's point. He's compromising a fair bit, all that extra driving that he's doing. He doesn't want to spend all of his weekends in the garden. And I think we should find them something a little more low maintenance.
Well, this is the thing. If she is going to be successful in getting George to move up here, the house and the land have to suit him, don't they?
Definitely. Again, he's doing the most compromising, so he doesn't want to be doing all that in the garden.
House and land are very important. So we've found a place in Claudia's favourite beachside suburb of Avalon. It's still well over an hour's drive to work in the CBD for George, but it's abuzz with the cafes, restaurants and trendy village life that they're after.
Hey guys, now we're in Avalon. You've got Paradise Beach, just 10 minutes walk down the road. You've got the shops at the end of the street, and here we've got a 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom house. And George, flat block of land.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's a big home, it's good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
A smile from Claudia. We must be doing something right this time. Hopefully there's enough space for her inside. With 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms and a large open-plan kitchen and dining.
Best of all, it has a level, low-maintenance yard that's a perfect playground for children. It is slightly over budget at $1.2 million, but we're confident we can get that price down.
This property has been in the same family for the last 18 years.
Oh, good.
So in terms of looking for things that might be wrong, that hopefully gives you some comfort.
Very well maintained, probably about 50 years old.
And one of the things you said yesterday was the lack of light in one of the rooms that we walked into. So this one here has got good window coverage there, lots of nice light. How are you feeling about that?
It's still a bit dark.
I thought you might say that, so there is potential. There is potential to knock a window through here to open it up even further.
I made light work of that problem.
Don't go congratulating yourself just yet. There's still more of the house to see.
Oh, hello.
This has all been opened up. So there's concertina doors there, which you won't normally get in a house of this age.
You did talk yesterday about the fact that you don't want to be lawn mowing unlevel places, so there is a slight incline there, but nothing too excessive there.
I think the grass is the selling feature,
That's
really.
wonderful, isn't it?
We love grass.
Just a great area for the kids to play.
It's this really great position. It's a really great level block. It's a substantial home.
Yeah, no, it feels good. And the rooms that we've been in are big, so we just need a little bit more space, and I think we might be on the right track.
So there's enough space for Claudia downstairs.
Yes, but upstairs might be a different story. Good luck.
Shorter ceilings here, good window to add in some natural light up on the top here, but come through to the master bedroom, which does have an ensuite and a beautiful view out to the front. What do you think about the place?
When I got to the top of the stairs, I felt claustrophobic. There was no space.
Oh dear, Claudia's cutting this house down to size as well. Time for a reality check.
You are buying at the entry level at this price range, and we do need to be able to compromise on some of the things that are really key for you guys, in flat land and the bigger rooms.
I'd need to see it all, but when I have to be honest, when I got to the top of the stairs, I just went, no.
Now,
Now, is this big enough for you, George?
Wow. Man cave. Boys' room. Lovely.
Thought you might like this.
Wonderful.
I'm a little confused here, actually, because I thought you were going to be the hardest one to please. But I suspect that Claudia is actually the difficult one.
Yeah, I'm not, jumping up for joy about having to come out all this way. So I need to see the positives in where I'm going to be living. So I can come home and go, great, the family's there, and it's a nice place to live too.
What's a score out of 10 for this house?
I would put it as a 7.
So is a 7 a property that you could buy?
I would definitely consider a 7.
Well, George is looking at this with a really open mind. He's really impressed by how well maintained it is. He liked his man cave. He's been really positive.
Something worth considering.
Did you go upstairs?
Yeah, I did.
What do you think?
For me, right now, it's probably the only negative.
Yeah. I can't live with that upstairs.
I thought she was chomping at the bit to move up here.
Well, I just think that she needs to be reminded that for the price that they're at, it's entry level. We've got all these reasons for her to say yes.
This is a good house.
And she's saying no.
We need to have a pretty frank chat. You've all had a chance to have a good look. What's the verdict?
The house is immaculate. It's neat. It's painted. The garden's fantastic. I think the upstairs is a little small.
So I was let down when I went upstairs. So.
Yeah.
This property was on the market for $1.35 million.
Okay.
Ouch.
But it's recently been adjusted to be on the market at $1.2 million and just not that far away from the top end of your budget. And we're confident that if you liked it, this wouldn't be out of budget for you guys.
Wouldn't leave anything in the kitty to extend, would it?
No,
Not in the short term.
Okay.
When you are looking to buy into an area, when you're at an entry level, you really do have to look at getting the most and the best house that your money can buy. And unfortunately, it means usually compromises and there are things you're not going to get.
Sure.
So I guess with that in mind, is this something that you'll give any further thought to?
I have to think about it.
But it sounds like Claudia's already made up her mind, and it's a no.
I know it's been said before, but something's got to give here. I mean, the market is flat. There's some really good buying, but they've got to be a bit more realistic with what they can get with their money.
Yes, well, Claudia very clearly has a dream house in mind and a dream lifestyle. But I'm thinking it's more of a fairy tale than a dream.
Well, I tend to agree. I mean, for her, it's really important the size of the house, and for him, it's really important for flat land. But in this part of the world, it's going to cost them.
It's likely to be somewhere up around the $2 million mark for their ideal property, but that's well out of their budget. So I think we need to tackle this search in a different way. We've headed to Bilgola Plateau, perched high on the cliffs overlooking the coast and Pittwater.
Slightly further from the beach, you get more value for money in this area. And we found a beautiful property on a level block that has the potential to be their forever home. But there are compromises.
With 5 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms, this beautiful home has got all the space that Claudia and George are looking for.
Problem is, it's recently been converted into 3 self-contained apartments. So it would require a few modifications, including removing an extra kitchen and knocking down a wall, to turn it into their dream home.
There's also the matter of price. At $1.25 million, it's $100,000 over budget. But it's just been passed in at auction, so there could be a deal to be done.
This is a very solid house. It's been very recently transformed throughout. The floor plan's a little bit quirky, as you'll discover.
There's 3 separate areas that you can block off here that actually can be used separately by 3 different family groups.
Self-contained.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So this door here
Interesting.
actually makes it self-contained. We'll show you shortly. There's another door that's self-contained, and then upstairs
deadlocked.
it can be self-contained. Now, would you be surprised to know that this is actually one of 2 kitchens in this property?
I wouldn't be surprised.
When you started telling me about the closing off areas, I'm thinking he's going to throw something else at us any second. So we're buying an apartment block.
He's not far off the mark there.
So what is it about this room that you like?
It's tastefully done. It's not over the top, and it's very nice.
And there's more than enough windows for Claudia. It just requires a bit of imagination and a little bit of work to turn it into their home.
Checks out.
Okay, now that bothers me.
What bothers you? The wet
You
bath?
can't have 2 kitchens. Why would you put that there? What's the point?
Because it's a wet bar, love. It's where you come to entertain.
No, it's definitely a triple rental and not a home.
Or a family's home
Who
with
has multiple
living
chefs.
downstairs.
Sorry?
with in-law accommodation downstairs.
Who wants to live with the in-laws?
Not me,
And not me.
but a lot of people do.
Yeah, but we don't. You've got 3 kitchens, effectively. So what do? What, rip them out?
No, it's perfect. Your mum can cook in one, my mum can cook in the other, and you can cook in the other one. Feast.
Okay.
You know how George said he was going to be the picky one? I reckon that's not going to be the case with this house.
Yes! I'm home.
He will love the garage, he will love the space, he will love the fact that it's a very low-maintenance lawn.
But Claudia's a lot harder to please.
That's just a double garage, though, George.
Are you kidding me?
With storage, you can have all
It's
your
not a double
tools here.
garage, Claudia. You can fit 2 cars along here, and you fit...
Yeah, but then you have to
another
push
one
someone
behind.
out to get out.
So what?
It's a double garage with extra storage.
Uh-oh, it sounds like Claudia's parking this property in the no pile as well. So what do you think of the space?
I think to be a home, we'd have to rearrange things.
Yeah.
So I think it's a little difficult at this stage unless it becomes a triple rental. And to create a home, we'd have to spend
More money.
more.
And look, in reality, your budget is entry level for this area.
That's right.
That's what brings it
That's right.
to be more likely to be within your budget. So it's a long-term project with
Is
all
it
this
within my
space.
budget?
More likely to be within your budget. Nothing's within your budget without a bit of work from us.
Yes. Okay. I tell you, if George fell in love with it, I may consider it. But as beautiful as it is, and it is beautiful, I feel it's cosmetically beautiful rather than something that I could use now.
After you, mate.
Thank you.
Now, George, I think this one depends on you somehow.
Really? No pressure then.
I haven't
pressure.
talked to you, so I don't actually know what you think of this house.
No, I like the house. I think you hit the nail on the head before when we first walked in. The floor plan, a little difficult to work with. And you know, for it to suit us, for the young family, we would need to make some changes.
Yep. Okay. Before we do that, I think we probably need to talk about price.
Maybe 1.12?
Well, okay, this one actually passed in at auction 2 days ago.
Oh.
And they're still quoting a little bit higher than that, but obviously a property passes in, there's probably room to manoeuvre, but we'd have to do some pretty tough negotiating to get it on budget.
So if this came in at budget, and I know you're quickly doing the mental numbers there, is that something that you might consider?
It would definitely be one to consider, absolutely.
So it's a positive reaction on the triple renter, and after seeing 3 properties, it's time for Claudia and George to put in an offer. But which one will it be? This week we're in the playground of the rich and famous on Sydney's northern beaches.
Searching for a place that feels like home for George and Claudia and their 2 little boys.
So far we've shown them 3 properties, a 2-storey weatherboard in Clairville, a family home in Avalon, and a triple renter in Bilgola, Plateau. And this morning they've come up with a plan. When we left you yesterday, it was a long day, you were a little bit tired, you were going to go home and have a bit of a think overnight. So Veronica and I are very keen to hear how the discussions went.
We have decided to revisit the triple renter.
The triple renter, yeah.
Yeah, it's just beautiful. It's really, really pretty. We'd like to see if we can get some professional advice about what it would cost us to make it fit us as a family. The biggest thing is get rid of that kitchen upstairs and get it down, build a whammo kitchen downstairs.
Yeah.
And instead of getting mother-in-laws in separate kitchens, we'd get them all into one.
Good thinking, George. At this property, there's more than enough space for everyone.
So we're heading back there with a local builder to get a price on pulling out the upstairs kitchen and converting it into a study, and removing 2 walls in the downstairs kitchen so it opens out to the garden. But will the renovation cost blow this house out of contention?
Stripping everything out, you're probably looking sort of between sort of $6,000-8,000 just for that room in there. Okay. Yeah, so which is not too bad. So
That's good.
Well, downstairs is a little bit more major. We look at taking 2 walls out. Okay, a pair of French doors. You're looking at a couple of grand there. Removing the kitchen, relocating what we can use there. You're probably going to be looking to get up there around sort of 15 to 20.
So that's good news for Claudia and George. About $30,000 to reconfigure this property into their family home.
And while Claudia and George ponder the possibilities, I'm heading back to the city to kickstart their second property search. They're after a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment close to Sydney's CBD with loads of appeal for tenants. With a budget of $630,000, that's quite a wide brief and there's lots on the market. The question is, which one fits the bill for Claudia and George? When buying an apartment purely as an investment, there are a couple of things I like to look for. Firstly, try and buy somewhere close to amenities and public transport, as this will attract tenants. Also, look for a property that has on-site parking, as this will increase the rent. And lastly,
try and avoid buying in blocks that have 20 or more apartments in them, because often they have high body corporate fees made up of pools, caretakers and lifts.
and over time, that can become a significant overhead.
Back on the northern beaches, Claudia and George have decided they want to make a move on the triple renter at Bilgola Plateau. The property's on the market at $1.25 million, $100,000 over their budget, so it's going to be a stretch.
How do you think we're going with the budget in mind, considering what they're looking at for the price?
Well, we'd have to put your entire budget forward. How do you feel about that?
Well, I'm not sure if I'm comfortable putting the whole budget forward and not having a little buffer whatsoever. I think we could probably go in at 1.1.
Yep.
To put all our budget in without having any room is a dilemma.
Putting in an offer at $1.1 million, so far below the asking price, is a risky strategy. On the one hand, they could bag a very good deal indeed. But on the other, they risk insulting the vendor, who could walk away from the negotiating table altogether. So on the basis of that, do you still want me to go ahead and submit this offer for 1.1?
Please.
Okay. Hi, Nikki. Yes, it's Veronica. I'm sitting here with Claudia and George, and they would like to put forward an offer. They're prepared to offer $1.1 million. Okay. Look, I would appreciate that. Thank you. The next morning, still no news on the offer, so we're getting on with the hunt for their second property, an investment apartment near the Sydney CBD.
We're starting the search in the upmarket suburb of Cremorne, just a short ferry ride from the city. Settled in the 1800s, the area's brimming with character properties, and I found one with loads of charm. Built in 1870, this two-bedroom apartment is part of a converted mansion and retains many original features.
It has an asking price of $625,000, which is $5,000 under budget, and it brings in a rental income of $500 a week.
Wow. Wow. I love
It's
it.
a great first impression, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it.
It's got that beautiful feeling of grandeur. It's almost like you're going to meet the Queen when you come in here. You've got 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom and a kitchen. You've got 84 square metres of space here.
Okay.
Wow.
And from the second bedroom, there's a spectacular view.
Oh, wow.
It's a beautiful view.
That's lovely view.
All the way
isn't it?
through to Middle Harbour. That's east, so you're going to get the morning sun.
So this is one of the bedrooms?
This is one of the bedrooms. Now, let's be honest. Tell me what's going on.
It's not a bedroom.
Well, look, there's a bed in this room and you're never going to live in here. It's actually something that you're going to put a tenant in. And we're only 7 kilometres from the city here in Cremorne. You've got Cremorne Junction about 5 minutes walk away. You've got the Mossman Village about 15 minutes walk away. And this is very, very popular for people who want to live close to the city. There's actually 1 car park for this property. It's on title and it's also a carport. So there's plenty of reasons to be here, even though the bedroom is a little on the small side.
It's not a bedroom.
There's a bed in the room.
Oh dear, it doesn't sound like Claudia's willing to put this issue to bed. But small or not, an extra bedroom increases the rent by at least $100 a week. Hopefully the master bedroom will size up more favourably.
You okay with this being a bedroom?
Oh, and you
Yes,
get a-
this is a bedroom.
So when you're buying an investment property, you've got to come through the eyes of the tenant. So if they walk in here, they think there's enough built-in robes for me to store all of my clothes. There's some storage here, and you can't sort of mistake that wow factor of looking at the Middle Harbour through the window.
I love it. I love the style. It's beautiful. I love it.
While the character features and history of this apartment make it appealing, the decision should really come down to its potential as an investment.
So the good news is that this property comes under budget at $625,000 and $500 to $550 a week in rent. Now, I know that you guys are very, very reserved when it comes to walking into a property, but I'm always really interested to hear what your initial thoughts are. So what do you think?
I'm in love with it. I love it.
Yeah?
It's a 1 bedroom, but I love it.
It's a 2-bedroom that's a part-time 1-bedroom, yes? What do you think, George?
As an investment, I would be concerned, only because of its age.
Yeah.
And I'm the maintenance man.
Yep.
So that would be a concern for me. If I was going to buy it for myself, I'm in love with the character.
You'd rip out the 10 apartments and live here yourself? Bring the family here?
I'd love to do that. Absolutely love to do that. Bucket loads of character, spectacular looking property. But like I said, totally unemotional. All I'm thinking about is how much of my bank account am I going to have to keep dipping into to maintain it.
George has a good point. Older buildings can have big problems, especially when it comes to plumbing and electrical wiring. But this converted mansion apartment was recently rewired and is generally well maintained.
When you walk through the front garden, when you see it manicured like that, you get a really good feeling that the body corporate is looking after this property. And it's been here since 1870, so if it was going to fall over, it would have fallen over by now.
You could definitely see ourselves living here, but you could see people fighting over it.
So while there's a lot going for this converted mansion apartment, the potential upkeep has scared off George. So we're headed to the other side of the harbour to check out something much more low maintenance in trendy Balmain.
Only minutes from the heart of the city, this suburb's packed with restaurants, pubs and shops and has a great villagey buzz. Everything a prospective tenant could want.
And just a few streets back from the action, I found a 2-bedroom apartment with a balcony and car space.
While it's lacking the old world charm of the last property, this functional city pad requires minimal upkeep and should be a very good test to see whether Claudia and George can keep the emotion out of this investment.
And at $590,000, it comes in well under budget, with a potential rental return of $520 a week.
Okay, this 2-bedroom apartment is 77 square metres.
Yeah.
Wow, it's a good size.
I think the layout here is quite good. It's got a separate kitchen here, you've got the bathroom right at the end of the hallway. And this entertainment area is not a bad size, but I think one of the key advantages of having an apartment is to have a separate dining area so that it's not creeping into the space of your living area.
Definitely.
But then there's that bedroom problem again.
This is tiny.
Yeah, it is a little bit
The room's
small.
a bit small. Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's a single bedroom.
Or a very, very small double.
Or a study.
Or a study.
Yeah. We are inner city living here, so
Yeah.
someone may rent this out, have the main bedroom and use this as a study, or as you can see, this is currently used as a nursery.
Yeah.
Now, there is one downside, which isn't a deal breaker, but there's a communal laundry. But there is a solution, because you can easily put a European laundry into the kitchen there, and that problem will go away.
Installing a washer and dryer into the kitchen would set Claudia and George back around $3,000 for the appliances and plumbing, but could increase the rent up to $50 a week. And at the end of the day, it all comes down to the numbers.
What are we looking at rent-wise?
This one here is actually under budget, so you don't have to worry about that. It's well and truly within your resources. At $590,000 is the asking price.
Okay.
And the current rent would be $520 per week, maybe even up to $550.
But Claudia and George are looking a little underwhelmed.
Having a look around, it's totally functional. There would be small changes needed, and they would all sort of centre around the kitchen. And if truth be told, a little disappointed in the rental. I had assumed in this area, high demand, a lot of people want to live here. I thought you'd get a lot more for a unit like this.
Well, the wet areas are what really make a difference with rentals. So if you did have a European laundry, I think you find that rent returns are really starting to meet your expectations.
But they don't seem inspired. Good thing I've got an ace up my sleeve. This week we're on a double hunt for Sydney couple George and Claudia.
After looking at 3 family homes on Sydney's northern beaches, they put in an offer on this triple renter in Bilgola Plateau, well under the $1.25 million asking price. And this morning, there's some news.
I've just heard from Veronica, and at this stage they've rejected the offer at $1.1 million.
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
Sad. Is there a counter offer or...?
Well, that's really a discussion we have to have with you guys. You know, it's really close to the top end of your budget.
Okay. But we did say we had some wiggle room,
Yeah.
so it's not over.
Well, Claudia and George want some time to work out if they can stretch their budget any further. We're getting on with the investment search.
And next stop is Neutral Bay on Sydney's lower North Shore, just a 10-minute bus ride from the CBD.
In the past 2 years, this suburb has seen an explosion of trendy restaurants, cafes and bars, making it a hotspot for young professionals looking to rent. And we found a modern 1-bedroom apartment with a balcony and parking.
At $500,000, it comes in $130,000 under budget, and best of all, it brings in $500 a week in rent. So you can't argue with those figures.
This section of the building has just recently been built by the developer. So it's actually one of 9 in the block. There's actually 5 old Art Decos at the back of the building, and there's 4 brand new properties at the front of the building here.
Don't like it.
Are you coming in here thinking, I don't like it because I wouldn't live here?
Yeah.
Because you think about what people are looking for. You've got some good natural light. The bedroom is actually at the back of this apartment, so it's actually sheltered from the road. And that living area there is quite a sizey living area for 1 bedroom. You've got your New York style kitchen, and just around the corner here is a study nook. So people who are looking for a 1-bedroom apartment, this ticks all the boxes for what they're looking for.
I like your fast talking, Bryce. Only problem is it's not working. Claudia's looking far from enthused.
Yeah, but I'm pushing on through.
Now, it's not the biggest bedroom you'll ever come across, but it does have built-in robes, and we are at the back of the apartment. So you close this window at night where you're trying to get to sleep, and that road noise won't be an issue.
Rental?
This would actually rent for $500 per week.
For 1 better.
Cost?
Well, this cost is actually under your budget, and it's not just a smidgen under your budget, it's significantly under your budget at $500,000.
So that's much better than the last one, money-wise.
Yes. So now that you know the price,
Right.
That changes it a bit.
good.
Yeah.
No,
Let's
it's good.
have another look.
Yeah.
Based
Now
on
that you know the price, that'll change everything.
That's more like it. The dollars are talking Claudia's language, and it looks like George can see some potential as well.
Great bachelor pad. That's where I can come to get away from Claudia.
So does that mean this place is a possibility?
Tell me what's going on, Claudia.
I don't like it.
Yeah?
But you've already told us how much it is
Yep.
and what the potential rent is, and with that in mind, it makes it more attractive, but I'm not comfortable with it.
What would have made it an absolute perfect situation for me if it had that 1 more bedroom?
Yeah.
Obviously, it's going to be worth more.
That's a good point. So you...
Happy to stretch that a little bit to go for that 2 better, but
Is it okay if I throw a bit of a curveball in and show you something else?
if you don't mind me
That'd be
getting
good.
out of the park, I'll
Mate,
throw
I'd love
away.
for you to hit it out of the park.
Yes.
Follow me.
George would prefer 2 bedrooms. Presumably he won't argue with 3.
Just downstairs in the same building is this lovely Art Deco apartment that has all the character that Claudia likes, as well as the size George is after.
But it's pricey. At $650,000, it's 20 grand over their budget, and they're really going to have to love it to make the numbers work for them.
Oh, we're looking at another one.
We are, come through.
So I'm already happier.
I thought this would bring a smile to your face, and what we're actually standing in is the entry hall for a 3-bedroom Art Deco
With parking?
3 bedroom.
with parking.
Okay, 3 bedroom.
So this makes me smile.
That there is the 3rd bedroom. This gives you options because you could actually use this for a study, you could use it for a 3rd bedroom, or it could be a dining room.
Okay.
And it would really make this like a little mini house. Now, Claudia, I really do think this will bring a smile to your face because even though it's the Art Deco, it's got
And
good
a
light.
courtyard.
And a courtyard. So this courtyard even gets some northern sun.
Well done.
Now, the curveball. And the reason for that is because it is a little bit over your budget. This one is asking $650,000. So it is $20,000 over your budget. But we wouldn't be doing our job if we didn't take you to a property that I think that you would fall in love with. And that smile says everything. George. Of course, you'd lose your hair over this, haven't I?
Yeah, it's great.
Finally, we found a property they both love.
But most importantly, as an investment, it's got everything going for it, with one of the highest rental returns we've been able to find and loads of tenant appeal.
I love it.
The window's
I
broken.
want to
I
live here.
can get 20 grand off of that.
Beautiful. I love it. You have to sell your car.
Beg your pardon?
You've got 20 grand in your car.
Gonna have to borrow some money off Bryce.
Now, let's be honest and cut the chase. Now that you've seen this property, the Cremorne property this morning and the 1 better, are they still on the list?
No.
So does that mean we got George selling the car so we can afford this one?
Yes, please.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
If you are interested in this property, we do have to act quickly because it is going to auction next Thursday. And what I can tell you is there is another buyer genuinely sniffing around. They haven't bought the property, but they are very, very close. So I think that you guys really have some thinking to do. And for you to be able to secure it prior to auction, you can't muck around. Yeah.
After a bit of time to think, Claudia and George have come up with a plan that doesn't involve selling the car.
I know that we were sort of umming and ahhing, but if truth be told, we have hit the phones a bit and we're still holding out because what we really want, what we both really want, is that 3-bedder.
Ah.
So what we're trying to do is beg, steal, borrow, and I think we agreed that we'd be kicking ourselves if we didn't really give it a red-hot go and do everything possible to get that. I think we'd
That's
be
the
annoyed
one.
with ourselves.
That needs to be the one. It's got everything I've ever wanted.
Ticks all
and
the boxes
outdoor
and then
space.
some.
Yeah. I get goosebumps thinking that there's a possibility we can have that.
I think that's a good decision. I really do hope that you can stretch your budget to $650, and I'll be waiting by my phone all weekend to get the update from you.
Awesome.
Here's to the weekend.
Thank you, Bryce.
Thanks for a good week.
After a weekend of waiting by the phone, the call finally came, but the news wasn't good.
Claudia and George had no luck in raising the extra $20,000 for the investment property.
And sadly, just days later, the apartment they loved so much was sold as expected at $650,000. So for this couple, the search for their dream properties hasn't been easy.
As well as missing out on the Art Deco apartment in Neutral Bay, the triple renter at Bilgola Plateau also slipped through their fingers. But 2 months on, the good news is that their dream to live by the ocean has come true.
They've taken the plunge and decided to move from their family home at Glenhaven to the northern beaches.
The catch is they haven't bought a house, they're renting. And 3 weeks after they've moved, I've headed up there to see how they're going. Hello.
Hello.
Well, this place is
Welcome.
beautiful. How are you?
Excellent. How are you?
Good to see you.
They've set up digs in a 4-bedroom home in Bilgola Plateau with a glorious view of all the area has to offer.
Obviously, because we didn't find a place straight away, we thought the next best thing was to live it and actually see that, you know, would it fit us? Would it be a good fit for
Try it out.
all of
Try
us?
before you buy.
Correct.
So what if the triple renter up the road in Bilgola Plateau? Claudia and George had put in an offer at $1.1 million, which was rejected. And despite upping it by $50,000, it still didn't seal the deal.
We actually made a couple of offers and both of them weren't accepted, so...
We stretched to the limit. We went to the limit, but it just wasn't accepted. So, and that's fine, because I said to Claudia, well, you know, everything happens for a reason. So let's rent and see if I can adapt.
Claudia's having no such trouble. She and the kids have already settled into the area and are making the most of it.
I love Avalon, that's me. I walk to a coffee shop here and we've got the park just out the back of the house. Avalon's just a beautiful village and I just feel at home there.
But for George, it's still early days.
Last weekend was my first weekend that I actually spent here. I've actually been working all the other weekends, so I haven't really had time. I get up in the morning, leave, come home, and it's dark when I leave and when I come home. So I haven't seen anything yet, so...
I know you're worried about the travel.
It's far, and it's not just far. Unfortunately, I don't have one point where I just go to one point. It's a lot of points, and it's far from everywhere.
The good news is they still want to buy around the northern beaches, just a little closer to town for George.
We're still looking in these areas, but 20 minutes further south, so to speak.
So I'm compromising.
I'm sure George is delighted to hear that. As for their investment property, those plans have changed as well. After they missed out on the Neutral Bay apartment, they decided instead to hang on to their family home back in the Hills District in Sydney's northwest.
We decided to hold on to Glenhaven, so now effectively that's become our investment and now we're concentrating on the family home and seeing what we can find there.
So for now, Claudia and George are trying out the northern beaches for size.
And while the jury's still out as to whether it will be their long-term home, it's hard to ignore its charm.
There's more choices. Where we were living before, I used to go to drive to the shops and that was pretty much all I was doing. Now at least, you know, I've got the choices of the beaches and, you know, spending time with family. And when friends visit, they actually enjoy it once they're here. The drive everyone hates, and there's friends that just think it's heaven here and, you know, would like to make the same sort of a change. So it's been great. Look at it, it's beautiful.
This is what it's all about for the whole troop. Just looking at it, you don't even need to be in it, just looking at it. Doesn't matter what sort of weather it is. You look at water and it's relaxing. You can never get sick of that.
It just makes you feel like you're on holidays all the time.
They say it's the journey, not the destination, that counts. But in Claudia and George's case, it's a bit more complicated than that because both matter. They've only just really started on this mission to find their dream family home, but one thing's clear, they're well on their way and on the right track.